Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ellen if you're new. In today's video, I'm gonna take you on a little tour of all the fragrance stores in Barcelona because, well, if you didn't know, I just got into niche fragrances a few months ago. It's very new for me, okay? I know some of y'all fragrance influencers have been out here for years. I don't know, I was just hiding under a rock, I guess. I didn't know what they were until like April. So it's only been a few months and I am obsessed. And I wanted to show all the stores that Barcelona has because I feel like people normally associate fragrance destination shopping with like Paris or maybe London, but Barcelona has a lot of niche fragrance stores. And as I was visiting the stores today, like 3 of them opened in the last month. That's crazy. So it is a fragrance destination. If you want to come to Europe and have like a luxurious shopping day of touring all the stores in one go, I found the perfect route to just ding, 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 hit them all in one day. And I just did it I definitely took my time. So if I had to guess, give yourself about 4 hours and you can hit up all the stores in Barcelona. So let's start. I started at El Corte Inglés, and El Corte Inglés has a very large niche fragrance selection. So the good thing about El Corte Inglés is you have a lot of niche fragrances in one location. It is a beautiful, giant, like 9-story department store here in Barcelona. So you can do a lot of shopping, more than just niche fragrances there. They have designer makeup, they have designer bags, and then they have like 8 other floors of shopping and also a restaurant on the top floor. So it is definitely worth your time to visit, even though it's kind of silly to say like you should visit a department store if you're in Barcelona. But I would say visiting El Corte Inglés is kind of like essential, and it also has a grocery store in the basement. So you can literally get anything you want in El Corte Inglés. And the niche fragrances it has there, it has so many, I probably can't list them all. But they're not all specifically niche, like they do also have some designer fragrances. But they have like Loewe, Replica, Rabanne, Prada, so these are all more like designer. Penhaligon's, Jo Malone, Bulgari, Creed, Diptyque, Byredo, Labo, L'Artisan Parfumé, Kilian, Frederic Malle, Parfums de Marly, Initio, Ex Nihilo. There's like a little nook that has a bunch of niche brands. Ella K, Bodicea, I think, Nishane, Xerjoff, Versace, Chloe, Gucci, Valentino, Mugler, Ralph Lauren, Victor and Rolf, Jean-Paul Gaultier. So there's a lot. There's even more than what I just listed, but there's a lot. So the good thing, like I said, about El Corte Inglés is you can find a lot of fragrances there. However, depending on the time you go, it is always busy. So I would say out of all the stores you can go to, the experience would be the least pleasant because there's so many brands and they might not carry every single scent from every single brand because that would just be a bit insane. So they don't carry every single scent, but they probably carry the main ones that you would want to test. But yeah, I would just say you probably won't get much personal attention. It will be a bit busy, a bit overwhelming, maybe too many smells, sounds, people. Ugh. So even when I was in there just to take clips, I was not there to smell fragrances. I was just there to get the clips and I was like, there's too many people in here. Like it's just a bit overwhelming, especially when you're trying to focus on the fragrance and like the sales associate that you're working with. It can be a bit much, but if you're trying to knock out other shopping at the same time or just knock out a lot of brands at once, then El Corte Inglés would be a good option for you. And then the next spot you should go to is Xerjoff. It is a beautiful store. Dare I say the most beautiful fragrance store in Barcelona. It is stunning and I had a great time with the sales associate there. She said it was nice to have a girl come in or a woman come in because I didn't know this, but she said at least in the Barcelona store here that most of like their target audience or the people that come in the most are like guys, like teen boys. Like she said like boys like age like 12 to 18 and I was like, what? But she's like, we have so many different fragrances, like, but for some reason the teen boys in Barcelona are like loving Xerjoff. So I guess that's the thing. But the store is stunning. They have like a beautiful little like terrace in the back that's kind of hidden. I don't think it's like for the public, it's probably for brand events, but gorgeous store. They even have champagne, like a very, very luxe experience. I think that was by far my favorite experience of the day was the Xerjoff store. So I highly recommend going in there. I'll just include a clip here of my little thoughts after I left the store. I just got done at the Xerjoff Barcelona store and she had me try a bunch of different fragrances that I have never heard of. I didn't realize there were so many different Xerjoff fragrances because I've only really been exposed to or heard of the bestsellers, but they have a beautiful store here and it has so many fragrances. Like I just tried 2 on my skin for now. I tried Lua on this wrist and then I have Cambridge on the other wrist. And immediately on first spray, I liked Lua better, but on my skin, I like Cambridge better. And she also had me smell Astral, which is one of their best sellers here, and it is fascinating. It smells cold, like you're on the surface of the moon. Like I want it, maybe not to wear as like an everyday fragrance because it is a bit unique, but I'm fascinated by it. I want it as like, I don't know, something special to have, something unique to have. And yeah, very cool. Definitely will be coming back. But yeah, it has way more selection than you typically hear of. Like a few of these other stores have Xerjoff, like more of the retailers, but they don't have even a fraction of what's in store. And today, I dare say my favorite that I've tried all day was Cambridge and Artisanal from Xerjoff. So the 2 fragrances I smelled at Xerjoff, and then Lua, but they're both kind of coming. I have so many fragrances on my arms right now. This is not the best way to go shopping, but dare I say Cambridge is my favorite of the day. And I would have never known about that because I've never heard anyone speak about the ones that she showed me today. So it's just nice to branch out from like the same like 10 recommendations. Like I told her, oh, I like Dama Bianca, blah, blah, blah. She showed me Apollonia. It was maybe a little bit too floral for me, but it was nice. And then she showed me Lua and Cambridge and I sprayed those each on one wrist and I really liked both. But after I kept smelling my wrists all day, I like Cambridge, but it is quite sweet. So if you like, I don't even know how to describe the sweetness of it. I'll include notes, just, this isn't like about specific perfumes, but if you're here, I think you'll be curious to know. And then she showed me the, God, I might be saying it wrong. Is it Artisanal? But she said it's their store's bestseller. And she's like, when they talk to other Xerjoff locations, they're like, what? That's your bestseller? That's like such a unique fragrance. It is fascinating. I really like it, so I'm a big fan of that. I also forgot to mention I have an entire bag of samples, so these will help me recount my day. So I very highly recommend going to Xerjoff. Also, I was lucky and nobody else was in there at the time that I went, and I had an amazing one-on-one session with the sales associate, and she was so sweet. So very, very highly recommend going to Xerjoff. And like, in the last month, 3 or 4 boutiques have opened. It's actually kind of insane. And they're all either on Cancel Descent or along Rambla Catalunya. So the Byredo store just opened and I was like, there's a Byredo store here? I went in there. It was a little busy, so I didn't get any personal attention, but that's okay because I have smelled almost all the Byredo scents. So I was like, okay, as long as I'm in here, I'm just gonna smell a few more. And I think I smelled like, I don't even remember, like fluorescence or something, and like Eyes Closed and a third one, but none of them really stuck out to me. But when I was in El Corte Inglés like a week ago with my friend Marley, and we were just shopping randomly and decided to smell perfumes, you know, as we do. And I smelled Bal d'Afrique Absolu. And I was like, wait, this one I like much better than the regular Bal d'Afrique. So if I were to get a large size of something from Byredo, I think I would get Bal d'Afrique Absolu, because that one I was like, wait a minute, this is so delicious, so delicious. So the Byredo store is beautiful. Hopefully you can go, like I would say like go in the mornings right when the store's open, maybe on like a weekday, because the weekends are gonna be busy regardless. I went today, it's a Friday morning. I got up like very early to go and try and like get it all done. And I would suggest just going as early as possible because you'll just have less people and then you can have more of a one-on-one experience, and it's just much more calm and chill and enjoyable. And then across the street from Byredo is the All Yours store. So I think they now have 2 locations, but this was their first location and it's going to be the closest to all the other stores. And they have a very unique selection of niche perfumes. Like, I would say it's very different to the perfumes that you can find at El Corte Inglés. And then there's also another retailer called, well, there's two more retailers. There's a retailer called Perfumeria Júlia, and then there's a retailer called Santa Eulalia. But All Yours has a very different selection of niche perfumes. So I would highly suggest going there as well. You don't necessarily need a one-to-one experience. I don't think they don't like promote that as much as if you were to go to like a brand boutique. But in a retailer like All Yours, it's usually pretty chill in there. Like, usually it's not terribly busy and you can just spend like a good 20 minutes yourself just sniffing and testing things by yourself, which is really nice. So I was spending a lot of time in there today because there are still brands in there that I have not tried yet. So I was like just trying brands just to try them because I've never even heard of them before. Even through all my fragrance research, I've found like over 200 or 300 brands, and there's still brands in here that I'm like, oh, I haven't researched that brand yet. I mean, obviously Fugazi, I had to smell some of the other ones from Fugazi. And then they have Giardini di Toscana. They have, I was actually surprised to see they have a few from Ramón Monegal, which is the perfumer for the royal family of Spain. And then they have some from Carner Barcelona. They have Dias and Durga, Born to Stand Out, Denam. I have not tried that one yet since hearing about it. Acro. And then I tried Cash Flower from Fugazi and I was like, wait, Cash Flower is really good. I also like Sugar Daddy, but I think Angel Dust is still my favorite, but was really happily surprised by Cash Flower and Sugar Daddy. And then I wanted to test some from Denam because I haven't tried any of those yet. So I really liked Sakura Snow and Tokyo Nights. And they also have Soradora. So I tried Malo and Broceliande, I forgot how to say that, but it's like Broceliande. But I really liked Malo and Broceliande from Soradora. And then I tried Room 1015 because I've seen that and I researched them, and I also reached out to them to see if they would like to send me any samples. But to be honest, maybe it was just the selection they had here at the All Yours store. I'm sure they have many more. But I tried like Sweet Leaf, Sonic Flower yesterday. I don't know what it was, but also I had smelled so many perfumes by this point today. But I think what I found out today is I don't really like saffron. Maybe. There's something in a lot of perfumes I smelled today that I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And it might be saffron or something like that. It smells like a musty basement. I don't know. But I did like Lavomatic and Electric Wood from Room 1015. And then I was like, as long as I'm here and it's not that busy, I'm gonna keep smelling stuff. So then I tried this brand Racine that I've never seen before, and I tried Santal Ceremony, really liked that. And then this brand Bibi, never heard of them before, but I'm really vibing with the bottles. It looks like almost like a decant or like a cocktail vase or something that you would see on like a bar cart. I don't know, my words are missing me today, but I tried Ghost of Tom, that was really good. And then I also tried like Swimming Pool, Santal Beauty, a few others. But Ghost of Tom ended up being my favorite from that brand. And I tried a few others as well, but they have a lot of really cool niche brands at All Yours. So I highly suggest going there. And then just down the street from All Yours is Penhaligon's. And I guess their store just opened as well. And it is a stunning store. And I got, again, very lucky that when I went in, no one else was in there. So the sales associate, she was super sweet. She took me through like the entire explanation of the brand, the history of the brand. I think I'll put in a little blurb of my experience here. I just finished at the Penhaligon store. I swear, like when you get a chance to be the only one in like a brand boutique, it is such an amazing experience. Like she explained to me the entire story behind Penhaligon's, the history behind it, and then kind of took me on a journey smelling some of the fragrances that she thought I would like. And I ended up taking the samples, I think Solaris and then the Duchess from the Portraits collection. And yeah, like it's because it's a bit overwhelming when there's so many fragrances in one store that it's really nice if you can get like one-on-one time with one of the associates and they can kind of like take you on a journey. And it is such a nice experience and it really leaves you with like a good experience and a good memory. So really enjoyed my time at Penhaligon's. So essentially there's 4 collections: British Tales, Trade Routes, Portraits, and Potions something. And so she took me through the whole story of the portraits collection. That was just like a fun experience. And I was like, oh my God, this sounds like a Bridgerton story. Like I need a whole TV series of this story immediately. And she's like, that's funny because everyone that comes in the store, like almost everyone says that it sounds like Bridgerton. But yeah, so she gave me like Lord George, the Lady, the Duchess, the Countess, and then like I forgot, the last one that's like a green tuberose one. Really liked Duchess and the tuberose one. Those were very good. I also liked Lord George, but it's more of a masculine fragrance, so I think like it would be really nice for a man. I also just loved smelling it. And she gave me it wasn't like the OG scent that the Penhaligons made in like 1872. It was like the one that was made in 1902, but it was basically supposed to be like a mixture of a barbershop and a hammam, like bathhouse, because that was like the history behind the brand, was that Penhaligon owned a barbershop in London, and like down the street, a couple of doors down, was a hammam bathhouse, and like he would get whiffs of the bathhouse in the barbershop, and he was like, I need to make a fragrance of this smell, this combination of smells. And I have to say that my favorite from the brand is that OG fragrance. It's so good. It's so good. It's so freaking good. I really wish I would have asked her. Wait, did she give me a sample of that? No, she didn't. Dang it. But I think I have to go back to get some sample or some size of that. I don't know that I would wear it as an everyday fragrance, but it smells so good. It smells like, again, like if I had a hotel lobby or if I wanted to have like a room spray or something to spray on my clothes in my bed, then I would want that spray from Penhaligons, but I wouldn't want it as like my sexy everyday scent. Like it's more of like, if you've been to like a hammam, I don't know what else to say. Like if you've been to a bathhouse, then I think you would know the vibe of the scent. Very good. But yeah, I ended up leaving with, she also showed me Solaris and then Luna. And I actually liked Luna, but I don't think she had a sample of it. So she gave me Solaris, and then I took the Duchess one home as a sample. So really liked that. She also showed me a few of the potion ones, but they didn't stand out to me quite as much. But I loved the British Tales, and I loved the Portraits collection the most. And then the Trade Routes collection she showed me, she said they're a little bit more like Middle Eastern perfumes. But they were, I think they like, maybe that's not my taste as much. So yeah, left with Solaris and Duchess Rose, and I'm really loving them. So then if you go up Rambla Catalunya towards Diagonal a little bit, you will run into Carner Barcelona and Jo Malone. They are literally right next to each other. So you might as well go to both, obviously, because they're so close. And the Carner Barcelona store is literally like, it's funny how in Barcelona and in a lot of European cities, they just, wherever they can squeeze a little bit of retail space, they will. So the Carner Barcelona store is like 10 square feet. It's like comical how small it is. So it's literally just like a itty bitty, they squeezed it in the side there. But it's a beautiful little section of store, and I had a fun time in there. Carner Barcelona is actually sending me a full size of their Supermoon fragrance, so that should be in the mail as we speak. So I'm very excited to review that in a separate video. But as long as I was there, I was like, okay, well, let me smell more of the fragrances, because I've actually only smelled Carner Barcelona La Playa in the All Yours store. So I'm not actually that familiar with Carner Barcelona as a brand. And I really like brands that offer like a starter kit, because the only thing I will say is the kind of annoying thing in a lot of these stores is you can only really leave, like the samples are free for the most part, which is great. But sometimes I want like a 5 or 10 ml so that I can like, I don't mind paying for it. Of course, I'm happy to pay for it. But I just want like a little bit more than like 1 or 2 mls to leave the store with. And I don't mind paying like, well, like 10 or 20 euros for like 5 or 10 mls, just so I can have like a bit more of a proper introduction to the fragrance if it's something I'm really loving, but I'm not ready to commit like 200 euros. You know what I mean? So some of them don't even have samples, and like some of them I'm like, oh, how can I decide? Like I've smelled so many fragrances today. I want to be able to pick, like if I would love, I know that not every brand wants to do this, but I love that Carner Barcelona offers, you can pick whatever selection you want. And I think this was only 25 euros. In my opinion, that is a really good starter kit. Like I am happy, very happy to pay 25 euros for this. And I got to smell all of these in the store, and then I narrowed it down to 5, and I picked the 5, and then I left with a little discovery kit of my own choosing, because a lot of brands have discovery kits. Like I loved Xerjoff, but for example, they only have these discovery kits with like 10 ml bottles, and you only get 3 bottles per pack, and it's predetermined. So unless you for sure know that you would like love each of those 3 and you get like a cute mini bottle, it is very cute, but you don't get to pick what's in the pack. Whereas this, you get to pick and they just put the samples in here for you. So I got Marbella, Ibiza Nights, La Playa, Tardes, and Latin Lover. And I really liked all of these. And obviously I would have gotten a sample of Supermoon, but I'm getting a full size in the mail. So I am very excited to try all these and like properly try them. But I will say, I wish every brand did this, because I need more time to decide than like just in the store. So I really love that I got this, and I would have easily bought one of these from every brand today if they did that, but they don't. So shout out Carner. And then like I mentioned, right next to Carner is Jo Malone, and their store is gorgeous. It's much bigger than the Carner store. It is stunning. I had a nice time, again, one-on-one with the sales associate. I just have to say, like, although the retailers have a lot of brands, so it does make your shopping experience maybe a little bit more fun and a little bit more efficient, going to a boutique is just such a better experience though. Like, especially if you can go when there's no one else in the store. I love having one-on-one time with the associates and like learning about the brand, and like you don't feel rushed, and it just becomes like a more memorable experience. But I will say, unfortunately, we spent a good 15 minutes just seeing what I like from the brand, and none of them really were like resonating with me. I did like the smells, like it's not like I disliked them, but every one that I smelled, I was like, okay. But to me, they give very like natural nature smells. So I ended up leaving with 2 samples that I did really like, and I did spray them. Where did I spray them? On my arms here. So this was, I think on my left arm was, oh boy, now I don't remember which one is which. I'll have to try it again. But the ones I did like these, and I think I like them even better on my skin than I did the paper. So I liked Wood Sage and Sea Salt, and she said this is the one that if someone comes into the store and they're like, I don't know what I like, I just know that I don't like anything too intense, she's like, I always suggest this one, because I think a lot of people can get down with like a little bit of a sea salty scent, and it's not like a quintessential sea salty scent. It has like a little vibe of that, but I would say it's just a very, like here, it describes it. It's woody, windswept walks along the beach, and the mineral scent of rugged cliffs, and wrapping sea salt fresh spirited. It's like a whisper of a fragrance though. It is not super intense, but on my skin, it's not like it doesn't perform. It does, but it's not like in your face. It's very nice. I would say it's not a skin scent mask, but I would put it in that family simply because it's not super intense in any which way. It's a very calm collection of smells, and it's very nice. And then I got the Nectarine Blossom and Honey. Very good. This, like she described it, is, oh yeah, this is how she described it. It's fruity, a peach plucked at an early morning market, succulent, sweet, playful. Literally like you bit into a freshly ripened nectarine. So delicious. So really liked these 2 from Jo Malone. And then just kitty corner from Jo Malone and Carner is Rosendo Mateu. And this is a store that literally just opened like 3 weeks ago. And I just found it as I was searching like perfume stores, because I was like, am I missing any? And so I was trying to make sure I didn't miss any like major boutiques. And so yeah, I went into Rosendo Mateu. I had never really heard of it before a few weeks ago. I was just doing research on brands, and I was like, oh, this is a brand and it has a boutique here. Of course I'm gonna stop in. And it is a brand that was started, I think, like it's not like a super old brand or anything. And to be honest, at first, a lot of the scents she was showing me, I was like, okay, I'm not loving this so much. But as I think we sprayed like 5, 6, 8, 1, and then we sprayed like 1986 or something, 1970, and then roses, something like that. Anyways, at first, when she sprayed them, I was like, not sure I'm really vibing with this. So anyways, I ended up leaving with 5 and 1970. 1970 is a very unique scent. And I would say I also liked number 1, but she was saying like, the sales associate, she was saying like, it's kind of not as unique, whereas 1970 you would be like, oh, like this is a Rosendo Mateu fragrance. So highly recommend stopping in there. And then across the street as you continue going up, Rambla Catalunya, you'll find Perfumeria Júlia, which has like a good selection of niche fragrances as well, but they did not allow me to film in there. So I could not film inside, but it has a lot of the similar niche fragrances as El Corte Inglés. But it's just fragrances. So if you want like, you don't want the buzz of El Corte Inglés with everybody shopping for a million other things, you can go to Perfumeria Júlia and you will have more or less the same selection as El Corte Inglés. So then as you continue up Rambla Catalunya towards Diagonal, you have the Diptyque store. I've been to this store many times. I'm obsessed with Diptyque. I think Diptyque might be my favorite niche brand. But I sprayed, again, if Diptyque had, anyway, they do offer very nice samples though. I can always get a sample when I go in, they're not stingy about it, but I just wish that they offered like a 10 ml to purchase. They do, but like only from select fragrances, and it's like 135 euros. So it's not terrible, but if it doesn't have all the fragrances you want, it's like kind of a waste. But I put Eau de Lier here and Eau de Sans here. Again, guys, for the last month since I was in the store last and I got it just sprayed on cards, I kept Eau de Lier and Eau de Sans on the cards on my desk for like a week straight, just sniffing them together and being like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. I want to like wear them together and it smells like you're like a magical fairy in a forest with like a waterfall nearby, and it's like fresh, but it's sweet and like, I don't know, they said Eau de Lier is not a popular one for them, but I don't really like the super popular scents from Diptyque, for example. Like I'm not a huge fan of like Fleur de Peau and Orpheon and Feu de Psychos. I'm not a huge fan of those. I have a full size of Le Papier and I love Eau de Lier. I don't know if that's just something really resonating with me personally. Like, I don't know. I'm very curious what your guys' opinions are on Eau de Lier. And then she went through and had me smell all of their like special collection again, because I haven't smelled those since like April. So it's been a while. But I did get a sample of Bois Cassé back then, and I knew that I didn't really like it. It's a bit too sweet and I don't really love like the coffee scent. And then she had me smell the rest. Lily Fea, the coral one, Luna Maris, and then this is Rose Rocher. And I was like, oh, is it rose? And she's like, no, 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 no. It has like maybe a tiny bit of rose, but actually what's in it is like the crystallization of like the sand that looks like a rose. And so, yeah, I'm obsessed with Rose Rocher. And then I did get a sample of Eau de Lier to keep trying it on my skin. But after just today, this is the first time I tried it on my skin. Yeah, I need a full size. I think I do. So Diptyque, obviously, you should go in. They're super sweet. Like Diptyque is my favorite. And then just around the corner from Diptyque, you have Santa Eulalia, which is my favorite retail store in all of Barcelona. If you want like ultra luxe experience, like doorman, hello, yes ma'am, thank you ma'am, Santa Eulalia. Like this is where rich people go to spend their money, and they also have a beautiful room of niche fragrances. And I know the sales associate there that works near the perfume because I saw her there my very first day when I went perfume shopping with Marley back in April, and she met us and she spent like a good half hour with us, and she's super sweet. So I spent time with her again today. And like, it's been a while since I was there last, so they obviously have a little bit of a new, like they rotate the brands once in a while. So she showed me Heroine from Bodicea. Really liked that, but Bodicea is like $800 per bottle, so I don't think I will be buying one of those, but really liked Heroine. And then she had to step away, so I kind of just took myself on a little tour of the brands that I did not know yet. So I tried Fitzjames Stewart, and they had like a little 4 collection like stand, or like, what am I trying to say? Like, whatever. They were obviously promoting that collection in the center table. So they had, what was it? Like Unseen 1978, No Time for Roses, La Hora Nocturna, and Quince Días de Abril. Very, very happy with all 4 of those. And I don't normally like so many scents from one singular brand, but I sprayed it on the cards, I left them, I came back like 5 minutes later because I always like it when it dries down a bit first. But I really liked the Unseen one. I mean, I liked all of them, but if I had to narrow it down, Unseen, and then the Quince Días de Abril. Okay, my big camera died, so I'm gonna finish filming on my phone. But I turned around from the James Stewart collection and I saw this brand called Monte Carlo, and I just started spraying stuff because I was like, I've never heard of some of these brands. I just want to see what they smell like. So I got a Shining Moon sample to leave with because I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I've smelled so many fragrances today that my ability to describe fragrance is gone. So I'll have to explain these later on if I can form a better opinion. But don't know how to explain it. But 15 Días de Abril and Shining Moon were very delish. And then if you round the corner from Santa Eulalia, there is a Labo store, and I love Labo. I love Another 13. I think that's by far my favorite fragrance from them. And I don't need any more samples from them because I just went in the other day to buy a sample of Another 13 because I'm just not ready to pay for a full size yet, but I do love Another 13. So they were very sweet. They were like, of course, please film the store. So I got some clips for you guys. Of course, I'm sure you've all heard of Labo, but of course, it's worth stopping in there, of course. And then around the corner from Labo, if you just keep going up Rambla Catalunya, you will run into the Montale store. I've never smelled Montale. I'm not really familiar with the brand. They also have Montserrat, which is the same. It's just like two collections by the same brand. So they have almost an overwhelming amount of scents. I think it's like Montale has like 120 fragrances and Montserrat has like 90 something. It's a lot, okay? I was almost overwhelmed when I walked in. I was like, there's a lot of perfume in here from one brand. And I was like, how do we even narrow it down? Like, this is almost a bit overwhelming. But I guess the interesting thing is that they don't use the little, well, they do have papers if you want to smell something on a paper, but they have like these little, I'll use my pop socket as an example, like a little plastic bell that's about this size for each fragrance. And then you lift it up and it's like a little bell that you pick up and you smell, and it has like a little squishy piece of foam inside that they spritz probably regularly so that it just always smells like that. So interesting. I kind of prefer the papers if I'm gonna be honest, but you know, if you want a little plastic bell, they have bells for each of their fragrances. And there was so many. I honestly was a bit overwhelmed, but he showed me a couple musks because I was like, it's an easy, like, let's just start with the musks of this brand and then we can move on from there. So we tried the musks. He showed me like Rose's musk, which I guess Montale, like the perfumer, he made that for his wife apparently. Very cute story. I really liked that one, Rose's musk. And then we moved down to Arabian's Tonka. Really like this one. It is, yeah, like tonka bean. Very nice. So really liked Arabian's Tonka. Also, it has a beautiful Arabian horse on the bottle. So I kind of just want it for the Arabian horse on the bottle. My mom would also love that because she grew up raising Arabians. Really like this. I think this is my favorite that I smelled, but I can't say it's my favorite of the brand because I only smelled like 10 and there's almost 200. So that's a lot. And then Soleil de Capri. Yeah. This, I mean, these are two very different scents. This is like more of a sweet vanilla tonka, maybe slight. Nah, I don't know if I would call it musky, but it's a simple, like it's not super overpowering. It's nice. He said, I think this is one of their best sellers, the Arabian's Tonka. And then Soleil de Capri, very like summer, you're near the beach somewhere. There's like a summer breeze coming through, but really nice. I will say though, I'm not a huge fan of the style of the bottles, but the Arabian bottle I would like. And then if you want to keep going, apparently there is a Monegal, Ramón Monegal, but it's called Monegal store down by Turo Park. So it's not super close. Like all these stores are easily within walking distance. They're all like within a block or two of each other, super close. So you definitely can do El Corte Inglés and then just go boop, 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 all the way to Montale. But then if you want, you could walk or you could grab the bus because there's a ton of buses that go along Diagonal and just take it a couple stops over to Turo Park, and that's where the Monegal store was. I wanted to go today, but they're closed in the middle of the day. So I did not get to go. I will go eventually, but that is the only thing. Every other store was open. I think they're just open from morning to evening. They don't have a lunch break. Monegal does have a break in the middle of the day, so be aware of that if you want to go down there. But there is a Monegal store, so if you want to have like a nice one-on-one experience. When I was in Miami, they actually introduced me to Ramón Monegal, funny enough, even though it is a Spanish brand. And the perfumer in Miami had me smell flamenco, and I really like that. So I suggest if you're starting out with Monegal and you've never tried it before, try flamenco. You would probably like it. I feel like it's more feminine leaning, but I think it could be unisex. So, oh my gosh, what a good video. I hope this was helpful. If it not, it just gives you maybe an idea of some of the brands. Maybe you've never heard of some of them before. Maybe you've learned a few fragrances that you might want to try. But let's see if I can narrow down. I would say my favorite experience of the day was by far Xerjoff. Beautiful store, amazing experience. They were so sweet and so thorough and like really had an amazing time there. And then if I had to pick a favorite fragrance of the day, well, obviously Eau de L'air is my favorite, but I already knew that. That's nothing new. Dare I say either 1970 from Rosendo Mateu or Shining Moon from Paris. Yeah. Oh, and I have to mention, obviously you can go to Sephora. There's like 3 Sephoras all in this little path that I just mentioned to you. So you can obviously go to Sephora. I didn't know that there was fragrance outside of Sephora until like a month ago. So they weren't really listening to me very well, to be honest. I know some Sephoras have 10 mLs of Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume. So I was like, do you have the 10 ml of Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume? I don't want the full size. I just want a 10 ml. And she's like, sure. So she just gets out this and starts spraying. I was like, oh, I don't need like a sample. I don't really need that. I just was hoping there was a 10 ml. And she's like, oh, no, there's not. And she just starts spraying. And I'm like, okay, I'll take the sample, I guess. I'm not mad about it, but I'm like, that's not really what I wanted, but okay. And then I'm like, oh, well, thank you for this, but is there a 10 ml of this? And she's like, oh, no, there's not. So the only frustrating thing is like at all these stores, I wish they gave more entry-level options, but I understand they're probably trying to maintain a certain level of prestige. You can get a sample, just a little tiny bit, but you can't get a mini size. So I will say that is the only frustrating option. But obviously you have Sephora. Everyone kind of knows the fragrances at Sephora. But if you also want to look at designer brands, you can do that. And then I tried Juliet Has a Gun Musc Invisible or something. Didn't really like it when I first sprayed it, but now that it's probably been an hour since I was there, I actually do like it. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. And let me know, please let me know if you come to Barcelona and do any fragrance shopping. And please let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances that I've mentioned today, because pretty much all of these, except for obviously Diptyque, I'm very aware of Diptyque, but all of the rest of these samples I've gotten today, I've never even heard of them before today. So I'm very excited to try these. And yeah, I just think like it's fun to get out of like the same like 50 suggestions that you always hear on YouTube and TikTok. It's fun to just like get out of the bubble a little bit and try something new. And you never know what you'll find, because like there's all these interesting brands that I've never heard of. Like I've never heard of James Stewart, or Rosendo Mateu was a new one for me just a few weeks ago. So anyway, I will leave it here, but I hope this was helpful again. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them in the comments, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.